Okay, hair is absolutely laid. I look good, not gonna lie. I did a quick blowout. Lace is laid. Oh, let me turn my mic in just a little bit. Yeah. Lace is laid. Girl, let's just go ahead and get this little show started because I'm already giving. Welcome back to the drama according to Kayla, where we live for slow burns, bad timing, and undeniable chemistry. And if you ever had that feeling of, dang, I just finished this show and I need to talk to my girl, well then, babe, trust me, you're in the right place. Before we get started, per usual, please, and make sure you go watch this show on Netflix. It is so beautiful. The city looks beautiful. The backdrops, the people, the experiences. It's just giving us everything, and you need to experience it. And I promise you, my words do it well, but you just need to see it for yourself, okay? So we're back into Can This Love Be Translated? And where we last left off was when we saw the Prince of Romance starting to fall for our girl Mui. She was really just enjoying the moment, taking in the scenery, taking in the sunset. And there is a sparkle in her eye, a little sparkle in his eye. And he's becoming a bit more smitten than he was before. But now it is a new day of recording and they are hitting the city streets. They're going through sightseeing. And this is where we learn our girl, Mui, she loves a good eat. She loves a good city eat. Something that's fried. Got a little ice cream on the side. Something that's just a little overly decadent. She's going to go for it just because it looks good. Now, the Prince of Romance, he's the kind of guy where he's slim, he's fit, he stays in the gym 24/7, not too many calories because this bud can't take it. So he about to pass out from the amount of food that they're eating, but he's doing it with her because, one, I mean, it's his job. They're shooting for the show, but like, two, genuinely, he wants to keep up with her. He kind of wants to, enjoy her presence, enjoy this date together, and he's really giving into what she wants. And so they're just having a good old time, having all these good food, street eats. They're even engaging with street performers. And this is an opportunity where we really see Mui let her guard down, and she's really pulling him in, the Prince of Romance, to let his guard down as well. And it's a very, very cute date. The producers are eating it up. Everybody is just eating it up. It's just honestly all around a good date. Now, it is a shame that in order to even get to this point, that the Prince of Romance had to be bribed like a child. But the way he's acting on this day, I can say that he is coming around on me a little bit more. So I'll give him a little grace this time. The producers are giving him some grace. We're really back in the groove of things. And so we got to look into the producer's van, and they're just, they're going in about how, wow, they're really connecting right now. And funny enough, I mean, they know the tension that's been happening prior. Funny enough, they just feel like Chamui is just really leaning into him. Like, she's just laughing and giggling so much, and there really isn't that much that's that funny if we're being for real. Like, okay, but like, it ain't that funny. And so they just feel like, wow, if this is how she is on this date with, this guy who obviously doesn't like her, she's truly a star on camera. She really knows how to put her foot forward. Like, girl knows how to act her butt off. So after spending a whole lot of time in the city, they take a little break from recording, and they're kind of camped out, set up in like what seems to like be like a field, little public park kind of area. They've got a couple of tents, and everybody's just kind of lounging, taking a breather. And so we look out across the field, and we see Mui kind of crouched down in the grass, and she just seems like she's just like kind of like what's the word, like fiddling perhaps through and just like messing over the grass, picking through, if you will. And she's just like, she seems just so content by herself. Now, watching her is the Prince of Romance, and he is just a bit enamored by her. He's in awe. He feels like, oh, cutie, sweetie. That's the kind of vibe he's giving her as he's looking at her. Now, who sees him see her? The producer, and she is eating it up. You want to know why she's eating it up? I'm gonna tell you. Remember last episode when I was telling you how they had to bribe that little kid in order to come back and do his job? Yeah. And oh my gosh, still too early. Hold on. And the interpreter was meeting with him, and the producers wanted to meet with him, right? So after the interpreter met with him, the producers came in and they were like, look, down to business. We got a show to shoot, okay? We ain't saying you got to be in love with the girl, all right? Like, just see where this goes. See where this takes you. If you like her, you like her. If you don't, you don't. Just enjoy the experience together. And he was like, okay, well, if I don't fall in love, then like, then what? And they're like, okay, fine. Don't fall in love, but do give yourself the opportunity to be open and lenient and leaning in to the possibility of a relationship, because just honestly, you never know. You really never know until you try. And so the producer seeing him, seeing her, yeah, like she said, you never know till you try. But you know who else is also seeing her? And yes, the interpreter, babes, the interpreter. So he's in the production trailer. And you know how they got all them cameras set up and everything. And one of the cameras is indeed on Chamui picking through the grass. And he is also just so in awe, so enamored with the beautiful, beautiful Mui. And we're looking at her and she looks down and she jumps up because she's so excited. Why is she so excited? Because she just found a 4-leaf clover and she's so happy and she is celebrating herself. She doesn't need anybody to celebrate with her. She is happy because clearly this is something that she set her mind to and she is finding it. She's so happy. And the interpreter's happy for her. And also the Prince of Romance is happy for her. Everybody's happy for her, but in their own little places. But she's happy for herself, and that is all that matters. So we see this cute little, like, pan to pan of the interpreter, the Prince of Romance, Chamui, just all excited and happy. And it's giving us this love triangle feeling. Will they, won't they, you know? So we're starting to get to the end of the day. Yes. Sun setting. We love a beautiful sunset again. And they start to exchange some, you know, I won't say like intimate parts of themselves. Oh, sorry. They being the Prince of Romance and Chamui. They start having this little conversation, this little exchange with each other as they look out onto the sunset. And they start talking about what was their favorite part of the day. What was the best part of this day, because it was so eventful, so fun, and they just really had a carefree time in the city. And so in this moment, Chamui shares with the Prince of Romance that she's never really liked sunsets. She's not a sunset kind of girl. Why? Because sunsets made her feel a little bit sad. A little lonely. But today is different because it not only is it beautiful, but it feels beautiful. And before, she felt lonely because she was alone, right? Like, that makes sense. But now being able to do this with someone else, she doesn't feel that alone anymore. And it feels nice. So she's very glad that they're doing this together. And the Prince of Romance turns to her and he says, then I guess you'll remember this moment forever. Now, we need to take a pause because watching this, there is a shift. There is a shift. Not only a shift in the camera's perspectives, but there is also a shift in the actual subtitle translation of the conversation. It's so subtle, but I promise you it is impactful. So let me explain to you what happens. So remember everything that I just said. As she is speaking, we begin to wonder, who exactly is she speaking to? Because we have this shift in the camera's perspectives of the sunset to her, to the interpreter, to the Prince of Romance, right? that segment starts, we start changing the pattern in the segment of who we see when we see them, right? And it genuinely makes me question, is she happy? Is she so content in this moment with the sunset because she is sharing this moment with the Prince of Romance? Or in some way, well, not in some way, or is it because she's sharing this moment with the interpreter? I mean, the Prince of Romance is here, but I'm really with the interpreter for real. Like, that's what it's making me question and wonder. And it's so hard to say, because it really could be that she just really leaned into this date and she just loved it to the fullest degree. Or is it just the fact that she knows that the interpreter's by her side? This shift is subtle, but it stuck with me. It really stuck with me. So they reach the end of the day. They're heading back to the hotels. The producers are going over the itinerary and the plans for tomorrow. And this is when we learn that one of the main producers on the set had a family emergency and had to fly back to Korea immediately. And so for that reason, they won't be shooting tomorrow. So everybody gets a break. We'll pick back up the day after. But this does make the chances of seeing the Northern Lights just a little bit smaller. The chances were already slim considering the time of year that they traveled there, the weather, the clouds, and all these things. But now, instead of 2 opportunities to see the Northern Lights, excuse me, we're now down to 1. And our girl is like, no. We go see them Northern Lights, okay? We said, like, this was the plan. The girls got the plan in mind. Remember, she's supposed to be seeing them with him. That's not something that you see by yourself. And she's supposed to be seeing them with him, the interpreter. What do you mean there's a chance we're not going to be able to see these Northern Lights? Come on. And so they're like, we'll never know. But, we're just going to pray for good luck and hope for the best. Enjoy the day off tomorrow. Y'all, I'm so sorry for my dog barking. He waits till I sit down to record. Be pretty to keep up all this noise. So, since they're not filming tomorrow, she decides, you know what? I got the day off. You know what I'm doing tonight? Getting me a drink, okay? We might as well have some drinks. If we not shooting tomorrow, hello. It's been a long couple of days. The girl needs a drink. And so, as they head back up to their hotel rooms, she turns to her manager and she's like, hey, yo, can you, can you bring me like a pack of ramen? I'm going to have it with a bottle of soju back in my room. Little late night eats. And he's like, girl, there is no way you're just going to eat a pack of ramen with that soju. No, girl, you need a meal. Let me grill you up some squid. And so she's like, okay, because my girl's getting a bright idea. She's getting a bright idea. She was like, okay, yeah, you know what? You right. I should have a good meal with this soju. So I'm going to go back to my room for a second and then I'm going to be right back over, okay? You just hold on right there. I'm going to be right back. So she runs to her room immediately, rummaging through her luggage, flipping through clothes, trying things on, taking them off, because she's going to be over there in his room. And you know who else is in that room? Right. The interpreter. And she's like, I got to look good for my man. It's not my man. Like, I wanted to give cute, but I want to give casual cute. I don't want it to give overly cute. I don't want it to feel overdone, like I'm trying too hard, but I want it to give, I'm just naturally that girl and I'm just a cutie for real. Right? And so she's going through all these outfits and she lands on one. And I must say, it is very cute, very low key. It's like this denim on denim number with a skirt with the combat boots. tea. She really did that. So she comes over with the bottles of soju. Knock, knock, knock. Comes through the door. And she's like, okay, nice. This room is nice. Okay, y'all ain't got no roaches in here or nothing. Okay. And she's like, so, yeah. Where's the interpreter? He here? He around? Where interpreter at? And so her manager's like, oh no, actually he stepped out. He went to go to this bookstore. That guy reads so much and he brought so many books with him. I don't know how he could even need more books while on vacation. But yeah, he's gonna be out for a bit. He went to the bookstore. She's like, oh, outfit wasted. Okay, cool, whatever. So he cooked the squid. They eat and they drinking. Come to find out, that manager is a full lightweight. They had them drinks, and that boy was out like a light. So now Chamui is up, left to her own devices, and you know she gonna do what she do, be a little nosy. She starts sniffing around the living room. She's looking at his books. So like, it's so cute. Okay, so like there is this like little table, like a side table in the little living space, and there's like a lamp, a couple of books that the interpreter had, and his reading glasses. And she takes his little reading glasses and she puts them on. Cute, cute, cute. She takes the book, she looks at it, she starts kind of reading it, you know, just kind of moseying through. Now, at the bookstore, the interpreter is looking around and he sees his granddad's book on display. He grabs a quick picture, sends it to him, and he's just like, you know, good job, granddad. You're a star. Looks around a little bit and he goes to check out. As he's leaving, he gets this idea and he's like, you know what? Let me just go on all the stops that they went on, the Prince of Romance and Chamui on their date. And I'm going to have a little, you know, I just want to experience it for myself. I mean, he was basically there on the date interpreting. Why can't he just, you know, go for himself? And I think it is just so stinking cute. Like, how adorable. So he's trying all the foods. He's seeing all the sightseeing spots. And it's just so precious because it's like now he's making his own experience of a date that he was basically on. So he goes on his little mini after date. And then he heads back to the hotel. Comes through the hotel door room. And guess who he sees sitting in there? Yeah, our girl, of course. She's sitting there in his glasses, reading his book, having a jolly old time. And when she sees him, she is startled. She is so stunned. She's like, oh my gosh, let me go. Like, my bad for even being here. I was just here having dinner and some drinks with my manager, and he's such a lightweight. He passed out immediately. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm finna go. And the interpreter, he's staring at her this whole time like, okay, like, girl, what is you doing in my glasses? But he doesn't say anything, so he's just staring at her. So she puts the books down. She goes, you know what, have a good night. She leaves, heads for the door, walks out, and he's still looking at her going out the door like, what the heck is this girl doing? She gets outside the hotel door, right? She's going across the hall to her room, and she's just like, I don't know if it was just me, but he was really staring at me tonight. Like, I must got it going on tonight. I must got it going on. You're just like, yeah, it's probably because I'm just that girl. Reaches up to touch her face. She realizes she still has the glasses on her face. And she's like, this is so freaking embarrassing. And she's like, dude, it's not that I'm that girl. It's just that I'm just that girl who's highly embarrassed. I just stole this man's glasses. So immediately as she has this realization, of course, the interpreter walks out and he goes, hey, you left your phone, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, this is just double embarrassing. And so as he goes to hand her the phone, he reaches over to her face and just slides the glasses off of her face. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like that. I was just so enthralled in your book. And you know. And I guess we wear the same prescription because they were perfect. I could read from them perfectly. And he was like, "Oh, no, they're not prescription. They're just like glasses to protect my eyes, like from light and stuff." Right. Okay, no, cool. Right. So you must got 20/20 vision. How amazing. You're so perfect. So awkward. She's so embarrassed. Like she's just trying to find a way to like, like talk around the situation and just like pretend like this is not happening but happening kind of thing. Yeah. And so he goes, "Well, if you really like the book so much, I would love to lend it to you for you to read." And she's like, "For sure. I would love to. I'd love to." And so he's like, "Okay, cool. Let me just go back to my room. I'll grab it for you. No worries." Goes back to the door. Reaches in his pocket. Guess what he don't got? That room key. He does not have that room key. And he's like, crap, I'm locked in. And so he starts beating on the door for the manager to come open the door. Like I said, out like a light. And Chamui is like, he's always been like this. I am so sorry. He like when he sleep. He's going to the world. Like we might can catch him in a couple of hours, like an hour or two, when he like, shifts around and starts to get up for a second, but he ain't gonna hear nothing. And so the interpreter is like, all right, well, let me go downstairs to like concierge or something and see if they can help me get into the room. And she's like, all right, bet. So he leaves. She's still beating on the door, calling for her manager or whatever. He comes back and he's like, they weren't even on duty. So it looks like I'm just kind of stuck outside the room for now until he wakes up or whatever. So be it. It's just life. And so Mui, she's like, okay, true, understood. She goes to her door, gets ready to unlock it, reaches in her pocket. Oh my gosh. I left my key in the room too. Beating on the door again. Still not opening. And so now they're both stuck outside their rooms. No concierge, just vibes in the middle of the night. So they go down to the lobby, get a little comfy on one of those little day beds in the window. And she's being herself and she just starts making conversation again, and she's an honest girl. And she was like, to be honest, I wasn't really reading that book for real. I don't know what was going on. You do not have to lend me that book. Like, truly beats me. And so he was like, oh, well, no, it's a really good book. It's like this type of mystery, blah, blah, blah. She says, oh, well, hold on. I think I might be interested. Tell me about it. And he was like, you sure you want me to like tell you about it? She's like, no, yeah, tell me all about it. Tell me the story. He's like, and you're not going to read it. She's like, trust, babes, I'm not reading that book. But you can tell me about it. And so he's a little excited. So he's like, okay. He gets comfortable in his seat. He takes his jacket off. He drapes it across her legs so that she can be comfy and warm. And he begins telling her the entire story. He tells her the story until she just drifts asleep. And it's such a precious, precious moment. I need a little food break. I heated me up some rolls. He reads her to sleep. Well, he tells her the story till she falls asleep. And she wakes up the next morning and she's still on the daybed, sun shining in through the window. She's a little confused. She's like, oh, shoot, man, I've been laying here this whole time. Golly. And so the interpreter, he comes over and he's like, hey, you want to go to the farmer's market? And she's like, yeah, I do. That would be so great. And yes. That was me internally as I was watching. Okay. I'm so ecstatic because now we've got a little farmer's market date. Who doesn't love a farmer's market date? Who doesn't love a farmer's market date? So they're going through. They're having their cutesy montages. They're looking at the apples. They're looking at the pumpkins. They're just going through, picking up stuff. So cute. Look, so cute. And it's It's heaven on earth because it's like finally we're getting to the cute stuff. We're getting to the this is a date, not a date. You know? A blast. So as we're going through the farmer's market, just being oh so cute, Maui starts walking with like something in her hands. It might have been a pumpkin or something. I don't know. And there was this ladder that was up, like out, like right? Like what is it? Like I guess it was like propped open. We'll say that, right? So there's this propped open ladder. And we was getting ready to walk underneath it. And so one of the tenants at the market, she was like, hey, whoa, stop. It's bad luck to walk under a ladder. And of course, Marie doesn't understand because she's speaking a little faster. She's got good English, but like to pick it up that fast and in the spur of the moment, that's a lot. And so the interpreter interprets for her and he tells her and she's like, oh my gosh, no, I would never want to do anything that's bad luck, right? And so he explains it to her when they sit down to like grab a little coffee or something after the fact. And she's like, no, never. I would never do. If she's like, if it's taboo here, count me out. I'm not doing that. Okay. Like I call me superstitious, but I believe in those types of things. And he was like, yeah, no, I figured you were a little superstitious when I saw you in the fields picking out 4-leaf clovers. Because, you know, that's her man. That's not her man. Seeing her, noticing her, picking up little details about her because he just loves her. Right. And so she was like, oh, yeah. I figured that if I found 7 4-leaf clovers, then we'll have good luck and we'll be able to see the northern lights on this trip. And so the interpreter is like, so if we don't see the northern lights, it's all your fault? And she's like, whoa, why are you being so mean to me? And he's like, no, I'm not being mean to you. You're being mean to yourself. Oh, here we go again. My man that's not my man calling me out on my problems, my self-sabotaging things. Like, please. Okay, like, so you're right. But like, yeah, I was having a nice day. Did you have to bring that up? And she's like, okay, well, anyways, I have 5. I need 2 more. And then I'll know for sure that we'll have good luck to see the northern lights. And he's like, all right, if that's your thing, girl, that's your thing. He gets a phone call. Granddad's on the phone. And he has to take it because like granddad's freaking out about something, right? And so he's like, listen, I really need to take this call. You can just take the things that we purchased. If you want to take them back to the car, I'll meet you there. And she's like, for sure. She's in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? She got a little pep in her step, a little skip in her walk. She puts the stuff in the car. And there's a little grassy patch near where they had parked. And she's looking through. And lucky is as lucky can be. She finds a 4-leaf clover in the patch. And she is so happy. She takes it, she pulls a little tissue out the pocket, presses it, puts it in her pocket, right? Happy. Now, I don't really know how much time has passed, but she's just like, yo, where this guy at already? So she gives him a call. She's like, where are you? Like, I've been waiting on you, and you haven't come back to the car yet. And he was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I've been on the phone, and I got into this conversation, and then I just kind of started walking and pacing, and honest, I'm so turned around. I have no idea where I am. And she's like, oh my gosh, you don't never know where you at, bro. Like, here we go. So what do you see? And he explains what he sees, and he sees the that same clock that she had saw yesterday or whatever. And she goes, okay, I got it. You just stay right where you are. I'm going to go find you. And here she go again. And you know what? And girl, I don't care if it's your man, it's not your man. Why are you running to that man? Here she go again, all happy, running towards him. Because she knows exactly where he is. Which is sweeter than some man with a balloon talking about some gun behind me. But like, you know, she's running through. She knows exactly where he is. And the closer that she gets to him, she realizes she sees the figure of another woman. She starts getting closer and closer. And this woman is looking real familiar. She gets about a foot away from them. and we realize that woman is Shinji Soon, aka the interpreter's girl who got away, aka his brother's fiance, aka the woman who is supposed to be getting married over in Jeju Island while he is supposed to be here minding his business nowhere near it. Let me calm down. So she gets closer and Shinji Soon is like, oh, hey, I'm so glad I ran into you guys. You know, I was taking a cab on the way in. Is that this girl calling me? Yes, so Shinji Soon, she was like, oh, I had took a cab over and then I realized it was so much colder here than what I thought. I just was not prepared. So I made a stop to go grab me a little jacket or sweater or something, whatever. I don't care what she got. And she's like, and then I ran into you and like, what are the odds, you know? And it's just like, yeah. What are the odds? So if you haven't put this together, right? Remember how earlier we were like, one of the producers had to go home really fast because they had a family emergency. So they're going to send another producer out. Yeah, that other producer that got sent out was Shinji Soon. That girl. And so the interpreter, being the nice and thoughtful guy that he is, he's like, well, we'll just give you a, you can ride back with us to the hotel. Excuse me, since you're supposed to be meeting with him. And, you know, I'm going to be at the meeting as well. So we could just all ride back together, of course. So they get back in the car and Chamui is like, she's mad irritated. I'm not going to lie. I'd be mad irritated too. Because we're having the cutest little date that's not a date. And here she come ruining my date that's not a date. And she's sitting in the front seat, girl. Anyways. Of course, emotions are high. You know who shows up when emotions are high. Yeah. Dorami, she comes, she's like, get a load of this. What is she even doing here for real? Like, why is she here? Ain't she supposed to be like in a whole nother country with her man? I'm sorry, her fiance getting married? Like, isn't she supposed to be like having her wedding? Like, why is she not at her wedding? Why is she not getting married? Like, why is she not here? Go ask her. Why isn't she getting married? Why is she here? Why is she not preparing for her wedding? Ask her. And Chamui's like, please, I'm getting overstimulated. Please stop, girl. Please. But Dorami is just egging. Go, ask her. And so finally, Chamui just blurts it out. And she's like, I got so caught up in it, I forgot what she says. Hold on. Aren't you supposed to be getting married? And everybody's like a little startled because it genuinely, it came out like word vomit. And so Shinji Soon is a little taken aback, and she's like, I mean, yes, but we decided that, this project is very important. And because our wedding is going to be very small anyways, that we'd feel comfortable and okay with pushing our wedding back just like, a little bit. And we're like, oh, okay. Cool. So they finally arrive back at the hotel and they're going to meet the Prince of Romance. Remember, the Prince of Romance is staying at a different hotel. So they get there and then the interpreter realizes, he goes, you know what? I'm so sorry. Like, I should have dropped you out first, Mui. Like, that's on me. That's my bad. I'm so sorry. And Mui's like, it's fine. I'll just call my manager to pick me up. Like, please don't worry about me. And so he's like, okay, well, you take care of yourself, blah, blah, blah. They turn to go walk into the hotel. Shinji Soon walks ahead of him. And Mui calls after him and she goes, wait. She asks him, she's like, are you going to be okay? Like, are you sure you're going to be okay in there? Like, she's asking him as, a friend who's concerned about him. She knows the whole rundown of the situation, and, the whole idea behind him being on the trip was to be away from her. So she just wants to know, if he feels like he's going to be okay. And he's just like, well, whatever. And so she takes his jacket off and she gives it back to him, and she's like, here, take it. And he's like, no, you should keep the jacket. It's chilly. I don't want you to get cold. And she's like, no, I'm fine. Take it. This is her, basically her non-verbal way of communicating that she's trying to push him away again. And she is like kind of defending herself so she doesn't get hurt again, right? But of course, remember the interpreter is very black and white. So he doesn't really quite understand, but he gets that. But you can tell that he gets that she's pushing him away, right? And so he's just like, okay, fine. I'll take the jacket if you want me to take the jacket. So he does. And as soon as he takes it, she just walks away and stands, on the curb to wait for her manager. And he goes back into the hotel. So she's still waiting on him, and she decides to, kind of go for a little walk around the property of the hotel, just, to kind of clear her head, because this was a lot. Honestly, this was a lot. Like, imagine you came from your perfect date, not date, run into your man that's not your man's girl that he got feelings for. Or maybe still don't. Who knows, right? And now she's going to be here on the trip? Yeah, dog, I ain't really messing with that one. So she's taking a little walk around the property. And as she's kind of walking and she gets towards a bench, we see this guy running towards her direction. And this guy is the Prince of Romance. I won't beat around the bush. And he's so confused as to why he's seeing her, because he's like, oh, no. Like, why are you out today? We're like, we're not shooting today. Remember, we have today off. Reminder, he speaks Japanese. She speaks Korean. There is no interpreter present. So they're just talking at each other with no understanding. And she's just like, huh? What is he saying? And he was like, no, you're not. We're not working today. Why are you here? Like, you can And she's like, oh, because she knows that he's supposed to be in a meeting with the producer. And she's like, no. Like, here, meeting. They're here for a meeting. Like, she's trying to explain that. And he's like, what? Like, they're saying here their words in English that they know. And he's like, what? Meeting? Huh. Meeting? I don't know, man. I don't know what you saying, dog. And so she sits down on the bench. And he just kind of sits on a bench next to her because he's like, okay, I mean, she said meeting. I guess, I don't know. I guess we're having a meeting or something. I don't really know what's going on. And so as she's sitting there, she just kind of starts venting about everything that's going on. And she has the opportunity to speak freely because she know this man don't understand her. And so in her rant, she's basically just venting about how upset she is that Shinji-sun is here. She kind of messing the vibes up, if we being honest. The long story short of it, she's messing the vibes up. Her and the interpreter were supposed to see the Northern Lights together. She's been collecting all this good luck so they can see the Northern Lights together. And then she has the nerve to pull up here. And now he's probably going to see the Northern Lights with her. And she's like, call me bad. Call me naughty. But I hope we don't even get to see him, for real. I know it's going to mess up the shoot. I know it's going to mess up, whatever. But, I kind of hope we don't even see him because I don't want him to see him with her. And you know what? Valid, girl. And so after she gets all So after she gets all of that off of her chest, she's like, man, whew, I feel better. Thank you so much for listening. Whole time he don't even know what she said. Right? And so she's like, sorry for like, dropping all that on you, but thank you for listening. And so there were still some words dropped in English. And he's like, I don't know what this meeting was about. I don't know what she talking about. She do look a little down. She look a little sad. I don't know what's making her sad. And I don't understand. And I want to know why she's sad. But like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on for real. And like, meeting. Sorry. Thank you. What do all these words have to do with each other? Oh my gosh. So she walks off and he's once again in a state of perplexion. Is that a word? Perplexion? He's perplexed. I don't know. I guess I could look it up, but I'm not. I'm so not. So later on in the evening, they all have dinner together to welcome Shinji Soon onto the production team and for everybody to just like, chill, have some drinks since they've, had the day off and stuff like that. And so as we are, as they are, I kind of wish I was at the table. Food look good. But as they're at the table, introducing Shinji Soon, welcoming her to the group, we look around and we realize that the Prince of Romance is not at the table. But you know who is at the table? The interpreter and Shinji Soon sitting next to each other. Give me a break. And so Mui is real upset about this. Like she's in her feelings. She has every right to be in her feelings. She's in her feelings, right? But we notice that the Prince of Romance is not at the table. And so Mui's manager leans over to the Prince of Romance's manager and he's like, hey, is he not coming to dinner? And his manager's like, oh, no, he's not coming. This is actually his workout time. And he really likes to be very vigilant of his schedules and his routines and sticking to them and sticking to his like basically like his diets and his exercise. Right. And so they're like, oh, cool. So everybody's having a good old time. So as they're eating and throwing back drinks or whatever, one of the producers who was sitting next to Shinji Soon turns to her and she was like, honest, we are just so thankful that you would even like, drop what you're doing to come and help us. Like you're supposed to be getting married, and we don't want to interrupt and intrude on that. But the fact that you even like, decided to come, like it just means so much. Like, so when are you guys going to do like the wedding? Is everything okay? And she's like, oh, no. Like everything's fine. Listen, don't even worry about it. The wedding is just going to be so small. Like, trust me, it really is fine. It's not a big deal. We have no trouble like pushing this wedding back because it's just that small. And so the producer is like, oh my gosh, this is just so perfect. Like literally, this is so perfect. And then when we go back to Korea and you guys have the wedding, then we can all be there and we can be guests at the wedding and it's going to be so fun. And your brother-in-law can actually attend the wedding this time and it's going to be so great. Yes, so great. And both the interpreter and Shinji Soon are just kind of nodding like, yeah, so great. It does not appear that it's going to be so great for either of them. So what's really going on? The night's starting to come to an end, and we see the interpreter heading back to the hotel on the phone. Now, he's actually on the phone with his granddad trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Why is this girl here? Why are they not getting married? Something's not right. Something's not adding up, and I need someone who is there to help me understand why, right? And so Granddad's on the same page as him. He said, you calling me, I'm calling you. What is going on? And I can't get in touch with your brother. Like, what's going on for real? And so the interpreter's like, okay, give me some time. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Something's happening. I don't know, but something's happening. And so as he is in this conversation, we see Mui coming back to the hotel as well, and she sees him, and so she meets him because he's just like in a parlor in the lobby or whatever. She comes and meets him, and she's sweet, honest. She's very sweet. So she goes over to him and she's just like, hey, is everything okay? Like, are you okay? She's once again just trying to check in as a friend. And she's like, if you need me, I can be here as your cover for you. Like, this whole thing was just kind of just dropped at your doorstep, and I know you weren't expecting her to be here. So, like, if you want me to help you and to be a cover for you, I can be that for you. Basically, like, let me help you. And so he gets an attitude with her, and he's like, are you trying to encourage and empathize for me? Save it. I don't need your help. Like, wait, save it for real. And so it's really tough to watch because obviously he's so frustrated about everything that's kind of going on and he can't make sense of it. And because he can't make sense of it, he's just completely writing her off as if they didn't have a date that's not a date, right? And so in his writing her off, he's like being very mean to her. Like he's genuinely, he's got an attitude with her. And she calls him out on it. And she's like, you know what? You are just so mean. Honest, you're just so mean. She storms off and she goes back up to her hotel room and she's genuinely upset. He hurt her feelings. He really hurt her feelings. Because it's like no matter what she does, she's just receiving rejection. Not just in the sense of like, yes, one in the sense of she's been receiving rejection since she's gotten to Canada from the Prince of Romance because he's a baby, right? And then on the other hand, she's constantly getting rejected by a guy that she likes, whether she's making advances as like romantic ones or even now and the time before this as a friend, just making advances as a friend to be supportive and to be there for him. She is still getting rejection. She is still getting rejected and it freaking hurts. And quite frankly, I don't blame her. Me personally, I would have stopped talking to him. Maybe that's just my problem. But that would do nothing for the story. So she storms off to her room and she's upset. And so now she's crying. Emotions are high. You know who likes to say hi when the emotions are high? Right. Dorami. So now she is tucked in her bed, quite literally crying herself to sleep. Dorami is there with her parasol. And y'all, you know how I said at the beginning, you just need to watch this to understand it, but also listen to me. This is one of those scenes where you just genuinely need to watch it because it is indeed beautiful. She's in her parasol, she's in her little Dorami dress, and she's just kind of like sashaying through the hotel room. It's dark, it's gloomy, it's cloudy, it's rainy, rain's coming down. And Dorami is just basking in the rain. Just misery loves company. Because it sucks, bro. So she sleeps and she cries herself to sleep through the rest of the night. But the job doesn't stop, so we start a new day. To go to this campsite to go to see the Northern Lights. Once they arrive there, this is when Chamui learns that the interpreter's not going to be present and the Prince of Romance's manager is going to be interpreting for them. Odd. I mean, I know I said I didn't want him seeing it with her, but dang. Not even interpreting? And she's like, oh, okay, well, why? And they were like, oh, the interpreter's been in an accident. She's like, what? An accident? And it's like, no, nothing crazy. It's just like a little fender bender, like literally nothing crazy. He's okay. Everything's okay. They're just kind of handling up the insurance thing, which is making him late to the set. And he told us to just go ahead. He didn't want to hold up production. So she will be interpreting for us. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. They're still not certain if they're going to see the Northern Lights. They've made a little campfire. They're roasting, I don't know, probably marshmallows or something. And they're having some small talk and conversation around the campfire. And, you know, it's just kind of like regular. Like, it's genuinely just small talk. They finish it up. They've kind of given up on the whole seeing the Northern Lights. And she's like, you know, whatever. I didn't even... Whatever. And so she goes back to her room after they're finished shooting, and she's laying in her bed, and she's just kind of like contemplating back and forth, and she just decides to text him and, hey Buki, heard you was in an accident. I really hope you're okay. Hope you're safe. You know, see you back on set soon. Yeah. As you know, the other producer is obviously on the scene. And so because they've kind of given up hope on seeing the Northern Lights, she has volunteered to stay up for the rest of the night into the morning. In case the Northern Lights do show up, she's going to stay up, shoot it, so they could just kind of put it as some B-roll in the, and you know, in the show and stuff like that in post-production. And so while she's up, guess who else stays up with her? Actually, I don't even think you're going to guess, girl. Chamui's manager. He stays up with her, right? And so she's like at her tent and she's like getting some stuff together, and then her phone starts ringing. Ringing. Who's calling? Her man, her fiance or whatever. And so he's like, oh, that's, you know, she should answer that or whatever. And so he goes to grab her phone so he could take it to her because he's calling, and he accidentally answers the phone as he grabs it. And he's like, oh, shoot. On the other end of the line, we hear her fiance, baby, please, don't hang up, baby, please, just talk to me, baby, please. And Mui's manager's like, and as he's all shook and confused, Shinjisunda walked in, seen and heard everything, and she was like, what the heck? So she snatches the phone from him, hangs it up, corners that man, and she's like, if you tell anybody what you heard, I'll kill you. And he's like, no, for sure. Why would I tell anybody? Who I'm gonna tell? We all right here. And so back at Chamui, she sent the message, and he messaged her back, and he was just like, everything is fine. And if you want to meet me outside? Because I'm here. Oh, our girl is ecstatic. Oh my gosh, she is scrambling, trying to get up like, girl, yeah, I'm trying to see my man. It's not my man. Like, hello? And so she gets out there, they meet outside, and they're catching up. And he's like, yeah, man, like, it was just like, you know, they had kind of ran into me. They weren't paying attention to the road, blah, 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 blah. And so she's like, I'm just so glad you're okay. Like, da-da-da-da. And like, they're just having their little small talk moment or whatever. And so one thing leads to another. And he's like, well, I think your luck paid off. And she's like, well, no, what are you talking about? And he's just like, look, turn around, look up. Y'all, you know what's behind them, girl. Them lights. Them northern lights, the aurora. It was behind them, and it's so beautiful. And they just watch the lights together, and they're just like, they're looking at each other. They're looking at the lights, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful moment. Oh, and they're basking in it. They're just completely basking. And so as they're basking in the lights, she looks up and she looks to him and she goes, you know, there's some things in life that you just experience, and you just have to experience it with another person. And whenever you experience it again, you have no choice but to think about that person. This is one of those things. This is one of those moments. So the next time you see an aurora, you're going to have to think about me. I know that's right, girl. I know that's right. Honest, I'm saving that one for my book. You know what I'm saying? I got to use that on somebody. She ate with that one. She did. She ate with that one. Y'all hear my children? And so when she said that, oh, he was stuck. He was stuck for real. He didn't know what to say, what to think. Because it is true. It's so true. And he's already like, we could tell he's catching feelings for her, whether or not he wants to admit it. So like, he's stuck for real. So after that, they just go back to staring at the lights in the distance. And he was like, whenever you're ready, I can walk you back. And she's like, no, I want to watch the lights until they're all gone. And so they do. They watch the lights until the lights fade away in the distance. And then he walks her back to her cabin. So beautiful, so sweet. Now, on the other side of this campsite, you already know Shinji-sun, Mui's manager, they're getting into it, right? And so she still got an attitude with the manager. And she's like, bro, I freaking told you to just go inside, like go to your cabin, just go to bed. Like, why are you even here? Why are you even up for real? Like, I don't need you. I don't need your help. I'm fine. A-okay. And as soon as she starts doing that, whole number, her phone starts ringing again, and he still has her phone. And he's like, look, girl, just take your phone before I accidentally answer it again. Snatches her phone from him, and she hangs it up, doesn't even answer. And he was like, what is the problem? Why are you not talking to him? Like, I've kind of gotten the understanding that y'all aren't together, but like, what is it? Like, why won't you take him back? Like, did he cheat on you? Because if he had cheated on you and he calling you like this, there's just no way you can forgive him. You can't forgive nobody that cheats. And she's like, oh, I can't forgive you. Like, if you in a relationship and then somebody cheats, you can't forgive them if they cheat. Bet. He calls again. She answers. She's like, hey, listen, I never want to talk to you again. It's over between you and me. I cheated on you. Never call me again. Boom. Hang up the phone. Now the manager's like, whoa, you cheated? What's going on? Like, what the heck is going on, right? And so he was like, so you cheated? And she's like, no, but I'll make it true. And he's just like, what, dude? You ain't even cheated and now you're going to cheat to make it true? Like, what are you even talking about for real? Like, what even is this right now? And he was like, okay, so what you going to do? Who you going to cheat with? And she said, shit, anybody who's over 20 and a man. Lady! That could be anybody. And she's like, yeah, I know. And so what? Girl's got to get what she got to do. And honestly, yes, because I'm not looking for somebody that I could fall for. I don't want to fall for them. I just want to be casual with somebody for a change. And that way, I won't be able to go back to him because what I would have done will be irreversible. And he won't be able to take me back. So, yeah, I don't really care who. And the manager, he's like listening and he's hearing her out. And he's like, okay, like a little crazy, but like, I get where you're coming from. But just like somebody random, girl, like that's dangerous. That's so dangerous for real. Like, why not just do it with somebody you know or something? And she's like, oh, yeah, so I can be what? More dignified? Yeah, thanks. Big whoop. I don't really care. I'm a grown woman. I don't care. And he goes, wait. Like somebody you know? Hold on. I know you're not talking about the interpreter. You gonna do it with him? You gonna cheat with him? You off your rockers, girl. And she's like, no. I once had feelings for him, so he doesn't meet the criteria. Doesn't count. I can't cheat with him. Girl, we're getting into some waters, man. So it's just like, I get where she's coming from. Once again, this is another person in the equation who's just not being all the way honest about their emotions. And now her manager is privy to this information. And it's just muddy, if we're being all the way honest. It's just muddy. So she gets her B-roll footage. They pack up. And we're heading into a new day. And they're going to this national park. And they get to this park pretty early in the morning because they want to get there before people are there. So they had initially planned to be there like before the park opened to film so they could really set up and everything else. But per usual, no new set don't come with an issue. They get there and the park rangers were under the impression that they were coming to film tomorrow, not today. And so once again, the interpreter, Hermina's Iron Man, steps in, saves the day, does a little interpreting, everything works out. They're able to go into the park. We give it up for Mr. Waymaker Room Shaker interpreter, and they then go into the park. They get to walk around, everybody's getting comfortable, production's getting set up. Mui's just kind of on her own, walking around. Prince of Romance is on his own. He's got his nice little film camera taking some beautiful landscape shots. And as he's setting up for a landscape shot, we see in his frame, Mui begins to walk into it. And she turns around and she realizes that he's there. And she goes like, oh my God, hey Bookie, what you up to? She walks over and then they begin talking. Once again, no interpreter present, no headpiece, no nothing. This is kind of like their little idle time. So the conversation isn't that productive. But she comes over to him and she tells him, she's like, hey, make sure you're careful out here while you're, just kind of walking around by yourself because there's bears, right? And he's like, what? And she's like, bears, right? And she's trying to say bears in Japanese. She doesn't say it right, but it's so cute. But what do I know? Girl, I don't know Japanese. Anyways, she's like, the bears. And he's like, oh, bears. Got it. Yeah. Okay. But like, that's nothing compared to you, zombie. Where does he get off? What? And so he thought it was like a cute little funny joke. And he's like, oh yeah, you zombie. Meh. Holds his hands out. And then she sees his little fingertips of his hands. And she realizes they're so red. And she's like, oh my gosh, your circulation's not good. You're cold. Here, take one of my little hand warmers. I've got a bunch of them. So she pulls it out of her pocket. She places it in his hand, closes it. And she's like, here, this will help keep you warm. And she gives him a little lollipop because he's a baby. No, she gives him a little lollipop. And she's like, here, have this, low cal, sugar free. You can eat it. He don't understand everything, but all he sees are acts of kindness. And he's like, okay, so maybe she does like me. Maybe she doesn't. I'm really not sure. I don't want to go out on a limb here, but there's a chance that she might like me. And so they go back on their separate ways, and she continues, exploring the park. And she's walking through. She runs into some of the park rangers. The park rangers recognize her, and they're so excited to see her. They're taking photos with her, because she's a star. And so after they finish up the photos, Shinji soon invites the interpreter to come back with her to work on something. And he was getting ready to go, and Mui notices and she calls after him and she goes, oh, hey, remember you were going to teach me a couple of phrases in Japanese so that I could be, prepared for whatever. And he's like, yeah, I did say that, huh? And so he stays back and he was like, so you want to learn Japanese? And she's like, I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff so you wouldn't have to be stuck with her. I'm just trying to help a homie out. And so he's like, all right, whatever, man. So they start walking and talking together. And what we realize is that once again, just like on Jeju Island, he's showing her around in a sense, right? And she's like, hey, you been here before? And he's like, yeah, no, yeah, Sam, man. I visited, with my family when I was a kid once. There's this waterfall around here. But it should be somewhere in, I don't know which direction, but I feel like we should be near it at some point. And she's kind of getting a little tired of walking and stuff. And so they come across this little pond. And she's just like, man, you're just so turned around so easily. Kind of cute, but you just get so turned around. So she crouches down to the pond. She dips her hand into the water and she's like, look, don't you see the waterfall? And he's like, girl, no. Remember, Mr. Interpreter, black and white, nothing in between. And she's like, no, look. She scoops her hand in, cups out some water, pours it out her palm, scoops in some more. She's like, no, look. Waterfall. It's a waterfall. You see it? We found the waterfall. And honest, he's leaning in and he thinks it's so adorable. It's so sweet, right? And so they're having this little moment. And once again, this scene is beautiful. The trees, the sun, the water, everything. Just so beautiful. And they're starting to get a little closer to each other. Until Mui just leans all the way in and kisses him. They finally share a kiss. Ooh. Talk about excitement and shock all over. But she's super shocked. He's super shocked. She stands up immediately and starts apologizing profusely. She starts apologizing profusely. And she's like, Dorami made me do it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she runs away, leaving him there by the pond. He is so confused. Like, what's going on? This girl just kissed me. I don't even. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is just too much. It's just too much. So we're wrapping up Canada, right? This was the last day of shooting at this park. And in general, this was the last day of shooting in Canada. So to celebrate, they decide to go to this pub after shooting and just, have some fun. Throw back some drinks, have some snackies, play some games, enjoy everybody's company, because they've been working hard and they've had a lot of setbacks, but they've been working hard through it. And so now we have this nice, festive, fun, co-worker atmosphere. And they decide to have a little shuffleboard competition. The producers versus the stars. And the interpreter is on the side with the producers. And obviously, Mui, the managers and stuff like that, they're on the side with the stars. And we can see the interpreter getting a little bit jealous because he's like, get a load of this guy. They don't even speak the same language, but all of a sudden they know how to work together well. Please. So he's locked in. He's getting super competitive. What are they called in shuffleboard? The pieces? The pucks? I don't know. But he's sliding them with precision. And through his competitive spirit, the staff wins. And now the Prince of Romance has to buy drinks for everyone. And everybody's just having a good time celebrating, throwing them back, just having a good old time. And so the evening, it's getting late. The Prince of Romance decides that he's going to go ahead and, get going. He doesn't want to stay out too late drinking and partying and stuff like that. He's going to head back to the hotel. He's got his strict regimen that he's got to stick to. And so after the Prince of Romance and Mui say their goodbyes, Mui decides, she don't got the energy in her to stay out and party a little while longer. So she goes back in. She thanks the crew for working so hard and for just all the good work that everybody's doing. And she's just enjoying everybody's company. And she's going to turn in early and, thank you guys so much. Safe travels to everyone. She's going to go home early because she's got a super early flight in the morning, right? And so she leaves. She doesn't even say goodbye to the interpreter. The entire time that she's been here at this pub, she has not said a word to him. And he's in his head and he's noticing and he's just like, bro, what the heck is her deal? But she's in her head too. And so she goes back to her hotel. And honest, I think this is where I'm going to leave you. Yeah. This is where I'm going to leave you because once again, girl, we've got some stuff shifting and changing. So all in all, a lot has happened. Shinji Sun is now back in the picture. Clearly, she's not getting married. She's trying to cheat with anybody who she can cheat with. And there's just this little love triangle brewing that's kind of got a little bit more fire under it, if you will. I can't wait to see you in the next episode so I can tell you so much more of that. Has really pushed this storyline along. Remember, please do watch this. I cannot tell you every single detail. I mean, I could. Let's be for real. But I'm not, okay? So make sure you watch everything. Not watch everything, but like make sure you do take some time. Whether it's after I explain all of this, in the process of, just take some time, watch it. It's a very enjoyable, beautiful watch, okay? So I will see you guys in the next episode. Yeah, see you guys Tuesday. Love you. Bye.